Advent of Code is starting tonight, and I have it in my mind to try to do the problems in Lua this year using this environment that I've been building for hacking on Lua programs. I expect it to be a little bit painful because the editor is kind of underpowered. It's really designed for making and optimized for making small changes to existing programs rather than building entire programs from scratch. It's also really designed for interactive UI programs like this, where Advent is really for batch mode problem solving. But I figure if I try to do this, it's going to be a little painful, but I'll learn just how painful it is, and it'll help me understand what issues others might run into when they use Teliva. And so let's try it. I already did a couple of problems in fairness, but I haven't looked at this one before. I think I solved it once last year, but I don't remember it right now. So let's read it from the beginning. So we have a grid of spots, some of which have trees. Okay, and it's a total grid, so on the right you have the same pattern repeating again. You start on the open square in the top left corner and need to reach the bottom. You can only follow a few specific slopes. Counting all the trees you would encounter, right 3, down 1. Right 3, 1, 2, 3, down 1. I see. So you go right 3, down 1, right 3, down 1, right 3, down 1, and so on. And so the goal is to ask, how many trees would you encounter? Really what they're saying is, how many times would you collide with a tree? Sounds like about how I do skating. Okay. I already have the input. Let's take a look at the input. Okay, it looks like this. And I created a little template with a few helpers from Lua just to make problem solving, programming contest typing a little bit easier. So I'm going to copy that into, okay, let's run it. And so, okay, it looks like there's something wrong with my template in render. So I was going to go there anyway. Okay, I made this a shorter version. Okay, so this is our initial starting point. There's just a simple example app. And when I go to the big picture view of this app, it has some basic data structures. It's an example app, so the data structures don't really matter. And then there's main. And let's go look at main for a second just to see what comes in the template out of the box. And so we have some ability to do initialization and an event loop with render and update. Of course, our problems are all going to be batch mode here, so we don't care too much about the interactivity. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work in the render function throughout. And what will happen is that I'll solve some problem, I'll print something to screen, and then it'll go into the update function, which will wait for a key, but otherwise not do anything. All right, I'm not going to bother trying to delete all this code because deleting ranges is this is an underpowered editor. Instead, I'll just start typing again here. So I'll just clear the screen. Let's try this. Okay, screen is clear. Edit again. I think our first step is to read in the map. So again, this is something that it's just an incantation in Lua that is probably familiar to all problem solvers. We're just reading a list of lines from a file. And let's print out. Let's try this. Oh, there's a problem. Oh yeah. So again, Lua is not my first language. Okay, so it's doing something. Now what I want to do is I want to load the grid into a structure in memory. And so what I'll do is, what do we want the grid to be? We just make the grid a 2D array of characters. And so in Lua, everything's a table. Even the arrays are tables. So first we'll initialize an empty array. Now, one thing I could do in here is I could append each line to the table. And then I have a sequence. This is again a little helper I have. All it's doing is going through, iterating through the table in sequence. So let's make sure that we are loading it up correctly. And then not sure what new lines do in curses, so let's see. Oh yes, we're only printing the index. We need the value. Okay, new line actually working. Okay, now it overflows our screen, and in any case I don't care too much about the visualization. So now what we're going to do is figure out, we start at the top left corner. So row equals 1, because in Lua everything is 1 based. Call equals 1. Row, and we want to keep going until the row is, until we run out of rows. So hash h2, and in fact what I'll do is line equals h row. I think this will be interesting. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, Control C worked. Oh, that's cool. Oh, right, because row is not being incremented. We don't have plus equals in Lua, so it gets a little bit more verbose. Okay, that's working. What do I want to do next? So row will always increment, and I want to say call equals call plus 2. And maybe what we'll do is print string call. Okay. So for each row, we're saying how far along we go. Now, at some point in the call, it's not clear to me how 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So about 30 or so characters. So somewhere here, it's going to need to start wrapping back around. And so let's try to see that as well. Okay, and so we get to 31 where it sees something, but after that it sees nothing. And so what we want to do is if call greater than, because since it's 1 aligned, arrays in Lua are starting from 1. The size of the array is also a valid index, so only if it's greater do we want to wrap around. No, what we want to do is row. Okay, let's try this. Oh, there's an error at the bottom here. We're missing an end. Okay, so now we're getting data all the way through, and we can see us rolling back. Okay, so now all that remains is to ask how many hashes do we see? Okay, so I'm going to first initialize a count. If h row call equals hash, then PR let's see if this does something. Okay, I'm seeing some X's on the screen, so that looks promising. And what do I want to do? Result, increment it. And let's print it all the way up top at 130. Maybe we'll even make it bold. Wait, we don't want to do that here. Where do we want to do this? Oh, there's a that argument to mv add string. So what I know, oh, right. I'm trying to print it in a specific row and column, but I didn't provide them. 8-1. Okay, let's check this again. We printed somewhere else. That's less confusing. 81. Okay, is that the right answer? No, it was 178. Counting all the trees. Oh, write 3 down 1. I'm doing write 2 down 1. Stupid. 177. Off by 1. Off by 1. So we get, oh, right. This is the one indexing I was talking about earlier. Hash h is actually, the size of h is actually a valid index. Attempt to get length of field. But maybe h is, let's print h hash h and then return. Let's see what this does. Unexpected symbol near while. 21. Is return not a valid keyword? I think it is. And expected close function near equals. So for some reason Lua doesn't let me have dead code after a return. That's annoying. Okay, we just five. I'm just going to go to some random coordinate, and then I'll go back to 0, 0. Attempt to get length of field question mark. Oh, and let's do this. So we have 177 lines. I'm going to exit. What does this file look like? 323. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong place. 177. It should be printing something somewhere here. Why is it not printing? Did I clear the screen? No. What I really want to do is comment out all this code, but I'm not able to easily do that. Oh, I know. Return. No, we just end it. It's just a file, and I can put in a new function, even if that's an interesting. Oh, right, and I need to refresh. That's where the menu wasn't showing. So why is it still printing things on the screen? Oh, I was basically trying to check if the last line is just an empty line with a new line or something like that. There's no trailing new line, so this is fine. Okay, that was all a big rabbit hole. So we need to debug this error. Let's go find the error again. The error is hash h is a valid row. So why am I getting this error? I tend to get length of field question mark. Oh, right, because I've already incremented row here. Okay. So what we'll do is move this down. There we go. Now we have the right answer. Cool. So that was one problem. I think I'll stop here. Thanks everyone for watching.